So what we would like for you to do is to not only give us some information in reference to your background education, some of your experiences, but also to tell us something about Mr. Crawley and Mr. Hawkins during this first segment. And then during the second segment, we can start with Mr. Crawley, and he'll be able to give us some information, and then Mr. Hawkins, and we'll be off and running talking about this very, very significant organization, Dads Against Violence. Let's start with you.
Okay, well, first of all, good morning, and thank you for allowing me to come on your show again. As everyone knows, my name is CGreenlee, founder of Nashville Peacemakers Stop the Violence Campaign. I'm here with these young men because they made a huge impact in my life when I met them. And sitting here to my right, Mr. Steve Crawley, I've invited him to come out because he has a real good testimony, and I'm really proud of who he is, coming out as a blind man and want to talk about the violence we have within these young males and be honorable enough to say he want to make a stand. He might can't see to make the stand, but he can stand to make the stand, and that meant a lot to me. Mr. Hawkins sitting here, he's a really great guy. He's a community advocate within himself, and just by him saying, Clemmy, I heard your cry about where these dads at, and I want to come and step up to the plate. And this is how this is formulated.
Very good. And of course, let's see if we could get this little information from Mr. Crawley and Mr. Hawkins during this first segment. Mr. Crawley, why don't you give us some information about your background, education, and some of your experiences, and then Mr. Hawkins will end us for this first segment, and then we'll be able to come back and get into Dads Against Destruction. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Steve Crawley, and I graduated from John Overton High School, and you know, I got introduced to this program by PHawkins, and I just want to make a stand on trying to help save kids' lives. You know, I'm blind, and I'm willing to do it, so I'm just looking at it for a lot of other males to come out and help join the cause of what we're doing.
So you think that there's a real problem that we have today with our young people and whatever, and so you're out to try to deal with that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And of course, Mr. Hawkins, what about your motivation for being here?
My motivation is it's time to stop. It's time to come together as a community, for the dads to come back, rebuild our community, and take our place back in this household as fathers.
And so you've got this organization. Why don't you tell us something about the organization, Mr. Hawkins?
Organization, we're just a group of men that got together to come back to the community, give back to the community, dedicate ourselves to being back where we need to be in the household as men, helping out where we can, rebuilding the community, breaking this broken cycle.
Now, how many members in this organization? Tell us something about.
Right now, we've
got about 2 minutes.
We've got about 100.
About 100 men in this organization, all dedicated to the same idea that you're dedicated to.
Yes, sir.
And what are you doing in terms of your activity over the last minute or so we have here?
We get it with Nashville Peacemakers. We're doing different community walks. We got a lot of things planned. So right now, we're just setting a lot of things up for the year to come. Making
people recognize that it's important that you deal with the issue of violence among African Americans, not only among African Americans, but violence in the community, and you're doing everything. And of course, Mr. Crawley, what about you? I mean, what motivated you? I mean, what's your situation, period?
Well, pretty much I have had a lot of friends that have lost children, you know, during the past couple of years, and I see the pain that they endure, so I'm pretty much, I ain't never lost a child, so, you know, I just try to do my best, you know, to save my children's lives too.
And to feel that you're important in terms of trying to deal with this as an issue. You're not standing back, as Ms. Greenlee indicated, that you could very easily say that your disability, and of course you might not consider it a disability, but your condition will allow you to come out and even oppose the violence in the community. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
And of course, I think we've got about 20 seconds here of what we'll do, Ms. Greenlee. When we come back during the second segment, we'll give you an opportunity to start us off by indicating what your organization is doing with this organization, and then we'll be able to get through that second segment. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Mr. Crawley, you did. You